Hi there, my name is Claire, but you can call me Clur, and welcome back to Clur Reads. Woo! It's been a while, but we're gonna ignore that and just keep on pushing through. Yes. So I wanted to do a book haul for you all today, and also give a little update about the book budget because, spoiler alert, the book budget kind of fell apart. But I will get into that. I hope you are doing well. I hope you are healthy. I'm trying to dive headfirst into my creative endeavors more for a sense of excitement, inner peace, what have you. And so let's go through my pile of shame. So all the way back in March, or at the beginning of May, I think, I had filmed a video showing the books that I purchased for my February and my March budget purchases and talking about my book budget and how it was going. I completely forgot to edit it. I never posted it. Here we are, 6 months later. So when things were still going well, I picked up The Black Veins by Ashia Monet, found family magical road trip story. I'm very, very excited about this one. I haven't read it yet. And then in March, I bought We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal. This has been one of my favorite books this year, and you might see the sequel in a few minutes. But I was doing really well. I didn't even want to buy a book in May, and I was on track. I was feeling good. I had only purchased these. There was hope in the air. But move those over there. But what happened is my birthday happened in May, and lots of things happened around my birthday. First, I have, very generous parents. They gave me a gift card to Astoria Bookshop. That happened. And then usually around my birthday, I go into like extreme treat yourself mode to a little bit too much of an excessive point. And and I bought a bunch of books all at once. I still hadn't surpassed the 12 books for the year though, so I was technically still doing okay. But it kind of just opened Pandora's box, and then all hell broke loose for the rest of the summer. So with that gift card that I got for my birthday, I picked up Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo, and this is the latest book of the Grisha-verse series. This is the sequel to King of Scars, which is all about Nikolai and his trials and tribulations of being King of Ravka. I'm excited about this one. I'm currently rereading King of Scars to kind of refamiliarize myself with the story because I hadn't read King of Scars since it first came out in 2019. So, I hadn't read it in a while. So currently refreshing. Then I will eventually get to this. But I wanted to get this right after it came out because there was, the internet hype. I had a gift card. It made sense. So I picked this one up. What else? I feel like I bought something else at Astoria Bookshop, but I don't remember what. I'm not sure. If I did and there's a book I forgot in here, you will see it on the screen right here. And if that's the case, I'm really even more in the doghouse than I thought I was. Right after my birthday, I went to Ohio for about a month just to spend some time with my family. While I was there, I did just a quick browse at Barnes & Noble, and it turned into a I'm treating myself birthday haul in and of itself. So I got 4 books during that little trip to Barnes & Noble, and the first one is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. This is famed YA fantasy on the internet, and I've never read it, and I really want to read it. I've heard so many good things about it. It makes sense. So I'm pumped to finally like dive into this. Next, I got Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. I really wanted to pick this up because I read An Enchantment of Ravens back in 2019. I think it was 2019. It might have been 2020. All these years are just smushing together in my brain. But I read An Enchantment of Ravens. I really liked it. I loved Rogerson's writing style. It's very lovely. I thought the story itself was very creative and well thought out. And I've seen Rogerson speak on a panel before, and I think she's just like a interesting person, and I decided I wanted to pick up her previous book, I believe. I think this one came out first before An Enchantment of Ravens. And apparently she has a new book coming out in like the next year or two that I got rejected for on NetGalley, but I can just get it when it comes out. So the only thing I really know about this book is that there's some kind of magical library, and then there's a monster in the library or something, and the main character, this lovely lady, has to fight the monster or capture it. That's about the extent of my knowledge, but I'm coming for the writing, and I'm hoping I'll stay for the story. You know? Yeah. We know. Next, I picked up Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. I've heard tons of amazing things about this one as well. I first heard about this in a few posts about books that have ace rep, so that was like mainly why I wanted to pick it up. You know, I feel like ace rep is definitely something that's not as talked about or as widely available in literature. From like the little bit I've read about it, it seems very like magical realism. I don't know if that's actually the case, but it kind of explores the theme of like what makes a monster, and I don't know, I get this like dystopia vibe just from like the cover and the blurb on the back. So also excited for this guy too. God, I'm excited for everything, and here I am just rereading King of Scars and not reading anything I bought. So there's that. Yeah. Okay, also, this one is very small. The next boy is very chunky, and I didn't realize how large it was going to be until I saw it on the shelf, and I think my jaw like actually dropped. I was flabbergasted with how large this book is. The first book I read this year was Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, and I absolutely loved it. I just can't get over how big this book is. I know that, this is her newest book, and it wasn't a debut. And so I was like, oh, let me, look at what else she's written. And apparently she's written this very famous book that is very chunky. Like, excuse me? It's so big. Can we just wait? It's 846 pages. This is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I know nothing about this. I purely bought it because of Susanna Clarke. And I'm kind of intimidated to read it. It's about these two men during the early 1800s, and I believe one of them is like an apprentice of the other, or they're like enemies. Is this an enemies to lovers? It's so big. I can't get over how big this is. This is why I shouldn't be allowed out into public with a credit card, people. So at that point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think I had only purchased 7 books for the whole year, so I wasn't over budget yet. In June or July, I got around to reading We Hunt the Flame, and I absolutely loved it. I gobbled it right up, and I needed to immediately go pick up We Free the Stars, which is the sequel. I actually liked the sequel better than the first book, but the whole story is incredible, and I highly recommend you pick this up. So yeah, it was just like a mad dash to the store as soon as I finished the first one. Oh yeah. But if you want to hear like more fleshed out thoughts about how, like my love for these books, definitely go look at my Instagram. I did separate posts on each of the books, doing like little mini book reviews. But these are like some of my favorites I've read so far this year, and I'm excited to read them again one day. They're just so good. Love that slow burn, enemies to lovers. It really gets you in the feels. And I quickly read this one in just a few days as well. So like that was one of those situations where it was like a need, not a want. But at that point I was still under book budget. And then things kind of fell apart from there. That's kind of how it went. Yeah. I think it was the same trip to the bookstore when I picked up We Free the Stars, but I also picked up The Chosen and the Beautiful by Nivo, and I am really excited about this because this is like now that The Great Gatsby is in the public domain, like you can really do whatever you want with it, and this is sort of like a 1920s Gatsby retelling but with a female protagonist, and I'm very, very excited about this. It sounds so good. We get the 1920s, we get queer rep, we get Asian rep, we get the glitter, the glitz, and the glamour of the Roaring 20s, so like you really can't ask for much more. And then one weekend I went on like a little coffee hangout, bookstore visit date with one of my friends, and I saw that The Conductors by Nicole was actually misshelved, and I took that as a sign of fate that I should buy it. And if you haven't seen, I talked about wanting to get this book in my anticipated releases of 2021 video. This sounds so good. It's about a couple that were conductors on the Underground Railroad during the Civil War, and they have magical abilities. I don't know what exactly they are, but after the Civil War they used those magical abilities to solve like crimes and murder mysteries in Philadelphia, and I'm excited. I'm excited for everything. I just am full of enthusiasm, but I can't wait. I think this is Glover's debut novel, so I love picking up debut authors, and this, again, the cover, like this gorgeous like shining bird in the background and her lantern and her outfit, like we love this. We love this a lot. So again, something else I'm very excited to read. Getting to the point of the video where I am trash. While I was hanging out with my friend on that day that I bought The Conductors, we sat at the park and we basically talked about ACOTAR for like probably 45 minutes. It was like a really great in-depth like critical convo, you know, talking about its shortcomings. I gave her like a rundown of the new book, A Quarter of Silver Flames, because I had read it and she hadn't. And, you know, despite its shortcomings, I was kind of like, ooh, you know, maybe I want to reread this, but I don't think I want to read it on ebook like I did last year, like from the library. And then one of my friends from college texted me out of nowhere and was like, I'm reading A Court of Thorns and Roses for the first time. I'm assuming you read it. I'm gonna give you a play-by-play. And she was just texting me her reactions to the story as it progressed, and I like died laughing every time I got a text or a Snapchat from her. And so I was like, okay, so this is my sign. I need to read these again, just like just for funsies. And I decided to get the new cover paperback boxed set. Yeah, I did that. And you know what? Instead of reading all these awesome books that I've purchased over the past few months, your girl powered through both of these in like 3 days. And now I'm reading Court of Wings and Ruin. I've just come to accept that, you know, you can be critical of something and still enjoy it, and I more read these for pure entertainment value, but I do look at them with a critical lens, because some of the stuff is just like ridiculous and stupid, but these are like very comforting to read for me. I think when there's like a very well fleshed out fantasy world and there's just like lots of content to binge, I find that comforting because I can step into that world and stay there for a long time and kind of give my brain a little bit of a home there. And that's definitely like a coping mechanism for, you know, all the stress and anxiety that's going on in my brain. You know, and if these books is what's gonna, if these books are, you know, going to ease that a little bit, then that's okay. So we have these. Yes, 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 I completed my Tea Dragon collection. I just like, I'm not even speaking, I just want to cry. The Tea Dragon Tapestry by Kay O'Neill, the third and unfortunately final installment of the Tea Dragon Society graphic novel series, came out this year, and so I picked it up and I cried as I was reading this, as expected. It's just, it's cute, it's wonderful, it's soft, it's gentle, and full of hope, and that's what I really, really love about these. It was a really great conclusion to the story. This one's a little bit more about like finding your purpose in life, and I love it so much. Let's find a cute tea dragon. Oh, just like, excuse me, with his little scarf. Look at that little boy, little winter boy or fall boy, I don't know. Oh, it's just so cute. Ugh. Okay, I need to calm myself down. Too much tea dragon. So they've had plushies for some of the tea dragons in the past, but this year they did a Kickstarter for a mountain chamomile plushie, photo here, and that was my birthday present from my boyfriend. It hasn't arrived yet because you had to like order it like a really long time in advance, but it should be arriving in the next few months, and I was so excited to have a little tea dragon in our apartment. He's gonna have like I don't know where he's gonna go yet, but he's gonna have a place of honor. I'm just gonna snuggle him all day, so that'll be on my socials. Be on the lookout for that. I'm probably gonna cry. We love the tea dragons. We're a tea dragon family. I'm often not a nonfiction reader. It's very rare that I read nonfiction. But if I am gonna read nonfiction, I do, you know, stray towards like cookbooks, self-help, that kind of stuff. But I was looking for a book to kind of help with, not kind of help, I wanted it to help. I was looking for books about anxiety, and I saw that this one, I believe, came out this year. It's called Unwinding Anxiety. New science shows how to break the cycles of worry and fear to heal your mind. And I was just very intrigued by this. I did read the first chapter on ebook, and I really liked it. I liked the writing style, was very conversational. I haven't had a chance to like dive into the rest of the book. The author equates anxiety to a type of addiction and how you have to like overcome that. It was an interesting take that I hadn't heard before, and I'm intrigued to hear about what he has to say in regards to like, you know, working to break that. So I'm quite intrigued, and you know, I'm just looking for ways to help myself, to work on myself, and this is one of them. And I went on, also, before I get into the next book, because it kind of ties into this, I was on a quest to get this book. I was borderline, but I was like, Claire, you need to work for anything or pay for shipping or anything like that. So I was like, okay, well, it wasn't a bookstore, it was a library, because they didn't understandable, but I went, so I was like, random Noble, they didn't have it, even though it's online in stock, even though the lady worked at it was like freaking out because she was like, if it's on the shelf, I couldn't find it. I was like a little stressed, because I was like, okay, maybe I should be, and I went to have it. I was gonna just read it on ebook from the library, but I really wanted to like take notes and write in the book or highlight things just to refer back to, do some like little tabbies. And I think having something a little bit more tangible will really help me kind of grasp the information. So excited about that. But on one of those failed Barnes & Noble trips, I was just like, well, I want to get a book about anxiety and mental health because I'm disappointed that I couldn't get the book I wanted. The way my brain works, literally a shit show. But this is an instance where I judged the book by its cover. I did. I truly did. The cover is pretty. And I hope that the content is good as well. But this is Happy Not Perfect by Poppy Jamie. I didn't know who Poppy Jamie was, but apparently she's like this influencer that talks about mental health. It sounds cool. It's all about like a 4-step flex method to help like stretch your mind and like challenge your own thoughts. Like I said, I bought this for the cover. I am gonna read it though, but I'm already a little stressed out because she picked a sans serif font and I kind of wanted to die when I saw that she picked a sans serif font because I love serif fonts. So I'm not gonna use that as one strike against this book already though, but hoping, mainly hoping this will help, but I think this will be a good supplemental, like, maybe inspiration for like journal prompts and just like new ways of thinking. I don't know what's going on. And last but not least, we have Dear Dear Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. I've mentioned before on my channel, I love Noelle. I love their work. I've been reading Lumberjanes this year. She-Ra and the Princesses of Power on Netflix is like one of my favorite shows from the past few years. Just great storytelling, incredible humor in all of their work, and I really wanted to read this as well. It's a little graphic novel. It's about like a sidekick and a supervillain sort of like teaming up, but the sidekick is like kind of takes matters into their own hands and like does whatever they want, and they can shapeshift. It sounds so cool. Very quirky, which I always love about Noelle's work. So very excited for this one, and it's very like, it's paperback, but it's very weighty, and I very much enjoy that. So you can clearly see the book budget, kind of fell apart. I could just not buy any more books the rest of this year, but if I'm being realistic with myself, that's not gonna happen because there's some books coming out this fall that I know I want and I have been planning on buying, and maybe this wasn't the right year to do a book budget. I'm not gonna chalk this up to me being weak or me giving into capitalism or overconsumption or using shopping as a crutch, which it very well could be, but I think like this cover says, you don't have to be perfect, and I don't think perfectionism is feasible. We're fallible creatures, but also, we're living through some of the most hellish years in the past decade, and if buying a few extra books is what's going to help me get through, then that's okay. And not trying to use that as an excuse to let my book budget implode, but it kind of is what it is at this point. That being said, I'm not going to hopefully buy as many, like, I don't want to buy many more books than these ones I'm like gesturing to them off camera. You can't even see them. But you know, there are a few books coming out in the fall, like I mentioned, that I want to get, like the sequel to Where Dreams Descend. I'm very excited about that. That's like the main book I want to pick up this fall, like off the top of my head. That's all I can think of right now. But you know, I know I'll probably end up picking a book up around Christmas time. There's a good chance I'll be picking up maybe a spooky book. I'm not really sure. You know, I'm gonna be a little bit kinder to myself, a little bit more gentler. Is gentler a word? I'm gonna be more gentle with myself, and I'm not trying to beat myself up about all of these books, because I will read them all in their own time, in due time. I think I've mentioned this in another video, but like the time to buy a book is different from the time to read the book. You know, the time might be right to pick up the book, to own the book, to hold the book, but the time isn't necessarily right to read it. And you'll read it when the time is right. And I'm not there yet with some of these. Oh no, God. Well, so with that, I think I declare the 12 and 21 budget officially dead, first of all. Second of all, I now have lots of books to read, so I'm going to go read them. Like I said way earlier in the video, I'm trying to like dive headfirst into my creative projects. I think those are the things that really soothe me, bring me the most joy, and I've been denying myself them for so long for no good reason, and it's really silly. So I will be doing more creative things. It's Monday morning, so I need to go work now. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. I also picked, what's the transition? Like, when do you go, you know? I need a coffee. This is my first cup of coffee. I probably should have had this entire thing and refilled it before I started filming. Oh, okay. There's my boyfriend. Hello. I like my eyeshadow today. Very green. I don't need to read that monstrosity of a book twice. And by monstrosity, I mean like giant book. It is a little bit of a monstrosity in terms of content. Sean, do I have an outro? Or do I just have my intro?
Not really.
Okay. I couldn't remember. Do I just say bye?
Yes.
I don't think I have anything else to say. Do you have anything to say, Sean? Do you want the world to know anything? No? Hello? Okay, he doesn't like me.